what a lovely looking garrison you've got here. What motivational speech. I can enjoy it. You haven't quite got round to being completely honest with them yet, have you? And they do need your honesty. I mean, I can see here that members of the garrison have arrived, very young members of their family. I can also see Londoners like myself, hello, who've come here to seek shelter within the walls of this tower. And of course, where else would we go? Ever since it was built, the tower has always been a place of refuge. I'm Sister Agnes, for those of you who haven't met me, and I'm sorry to report that my priory close by Clerkenwell, St Mary's, it is under attack. Of course I've come here, but what the guard has not yet quite got around to telling you is that on one of the occasions in the tower's history, when it was attacked, the defences failed anyone.
We're going to need a bannerman. So, right, that's your job. What's your name? Steve will be our bannerman. Now, of course, because he's carrying the banner, that does make Steve what we call a target. So he's probably the first one that gets hacked to bits.
Oh, Steve, but I can see at a glance how brave, how brave all of you are. But sadly in this world, it is not enough to be brave. We must also be wise. You must decide, please, which one of the attacks you witnessed today is the successful one. For every attack, please decide if you think the tower is going to stand or fall.
Actually, what we could do is take a little vote on it. So, should we have a practice? Yeah? Right. So, if you all think that the Tower of London will stand, cry stand. Stand!
And let's practice what you're going to hear the brutal attacker say. If you think the tower will fall, cry fall! Fall! Nice and half-hearted. I like that. Very
Oh, I can hear the horn. We're going to get going. Right.
Quickly.
That's right. That is three. So,
Right.
follow me and Steve. There's ships full of pirates come to murder us all. It is a dark times, my friends. This is the year of our Lord 1471, and England is being torn apart by a terrible civil war between two noble houses, York and Lancaster, fighting under the banners of the White Rose and the Red. Now, as you can see, currently fluttering from the battlements of the Tower of London is the White Rose, because our king is Edward of York, Edward IV. God save the king! He isn't here!
What?
The king isn't here, he's gone north to fight the Lancastrians. He's left London undefended.
Thank you for the warning. Well, that's very serious. That means Southwark across the river has been captured. People have clearly come running over London Bridge, and now I understand why so many of them are milling around here. They're seeking shelter. Look at them. They're absolutely terrified. Well, I don't know what you're laughing about. It's terribly serious, and they're all depending on you, the garrison, to protect them.
Absolutely right, sister. If the king's army is not here, it is up to the Tower garrison to sally forth and meet this threat. So follow me and Steve! That's a bit of snarling. Not fierce. Yes, like that. Look, Warlock. Oh, hang on.
Garrison! Hello? Yes, you need not be scared of me. For those who do not know, I am Sir Thomas Neville. I am the bastard of Falkenberg. All I wish from you, good and handsome garrison, is for you to move aside. Allow my forces to pass, so I may take upon, in open battle, your king, Edward IV. Well, I know what you're thinking, madam. We were once very close to this man. We Nevilles even went as far as to match him up with a beautiful French princess. And what does he do? Well, he kicks her aside and marries that common Englishwoman, that Woodville creature, a disgrace!
Boo! Boo! vote to you, bastard of Falkenberg. You can't come here, tell us who we can't have as our king and queen. Our queen is Elizabeth Woodville. She is no creature, she's a beautiful lady. You're a disgrace. Yeah. And she's sheltered here with her 2 young sons. So we, in the garrison, we will protect them with our lives.
But you'll be wasting your lives. For you would fight for a false queen. A queen that is not married to a true king. Listen carefully. There is only one true, God-anointed king in this land worthy of wearing that golden diadem. And that is none other than Henry VI. But where is he? I hear you think. I will tell you. He is locked up in there like a dog. We're coming for you, my Lord King!
Yeah, well, you Nevilles have changed your tune, haven't you? It's not that long since you helped put Edward IV on the throne in the first place.
A long time ago. So.
And as for your precious Henry of Lancaster, I ask you, the strain of the last few years has proved too much for him. The poor fella has completely lost his wits.
Yes, I know. That is how I like him. You see, with a witless man, they are malleable. Can tell them what to do, what to say, what to hold. And they will do it blindly. Whereas your king is nothing more than a lusty fool that has ruined every single chance of a glorious European alliance.
Yeah, well, I think you'll find the English have gone right off European alliances.
Yuck! I have been nice to you people. Let me tell you what will happen to all of you, every single one of you. I have cannon out there on the south bank pointed directly at this old, tired fortress. On my command, you, with your smiles, become rubble and memories. But I have more. Children, do you know what pirates are? Yes, out there, in vessels, in boats, I have pirates. The very worst of pirates. They're from Kent, so they really are the worst. On my command, they sally forth across London Bridge, onto the Old Gate, onto the Bishop's Gate. They leave nothing but death and destruction in their wake. Disgusting! Yes, take more than your disgusting night water to stop a Neville. Out of my way, madam. So, if you think the tower will fall, cry fall! Right. Well.
But if you think the town of London will stand, cry stand! Yeah.
Oh, is that the garrison? I'm so relieved to see you all. Oh, where's the guard? I'm sorry to report it's just as we feared. There's been another attack. It's mobs this time. Rough people up from the counties of Kent and Essex. They're running through the streets of the city and destroying parts of it as they come. And not even the sanctity of the church is safe. My own priory has been set on fire at Clerkenwell, and now they're heading here to the tower. Please help us. Please come quickly and stop them.
All right, we'll do something about this. Follow the banner and the drum.
Thank you.
Oh, garrison of the town of London, we have travelled about 90 yards, but we have also travelled back some 90 years. It is the year of our Lord 1381, and England is once more a land in turmoil, barely recovering from the ravages of the terrible Black Death. Its population decimated and hungry, ruled over by a boy king and his collection of greedy, manipulative advisors. And the peasantry of England, finally beginning to realise their own worth and strength, have risen. The men of Essex and of Kent. Oh my God, there's one now, to the walls! You shall not pass!
That wasn't part of their plan. Do you know who I am?
No.
No? I'll tell you who I am. My name is Joanna Ferror. Pleased to meet you. I have a question for you. Answer freely, loudly. Do you think that the taxes that you pay are fair?
No.
No, I don't think so either, no. And you're right. We, Commons of England, are groaning under the burden of oppression placed upon us by the frankly incompetent leaders of our nation. Time after time, poll tax upon poll tax is forced upon us. This latest one, 12 pence for every single person over the age of 15. Now, if you're the Duke of Lancaster sitting pretty in your palace of the Savoy, which we might have burnt down, then I'm sure 12 pence isn't a problem. But for me, a commoner, that is a lot of money. And when the King's tax collectors are coming to our houses demanding that we pay these taxes, and we say we can't, we don't have the money, they are intimidating us, they are using violence against us. And why do they need all this money? To fight wars against the French that have been raging for 50 years, and that will no doubt go on raging for another 50 years. And we're failing at those wars. So we've had enough. We've decided that us commoners who work hard every single day, from Kent, from Essex, we are going to gather together. We are marching on the tower. We're gathered outside the walls now. There are tens of thousands of us, and we are about ready to see some justice done. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Well, hang on a minute. Mistress Farrar, you and Wat Tyler and John Ball and all the rest,
Yeah.
you're rebelling against the lawful authority of your king, and that is an act of treason.
No, hang on a minute. I'm not committing treason, how dare you? I'm not rebelling against the king. He is a boy, we love him. God save the king!
God save the king!
It is his corrupt advisors that we take issue with, and we think they need to pay with their lives.
The king's advisors are men of God. Robert Hale's the Lord Treasurer. He is also Prior of the Hospitallers, based at my priory, from which flames now leap to the skies, thanks to your mob. And Simon Sudbury, the Lord Chancellor. He is a holy man. He is the Archbishop of Canterbury.
Yes!
These mighty stone walls were built to see off the greatest of siege weapons. Do you really think they're going to be troubled by a bunch of peasants armed with farm tools?
We are quite a few standing outside the wall. I mean, there are quite a lot of us, I will say that. You work hard, don't you?
I do.
I do too. You all work hard, don't you?
Yes.
You probably work your fingers to the bone, but I imagine you don't do that so that the nobles can have an easy life, do you? No, it's really simple. We've got 3 very easy demands. Firstly, you let us in. Secondly, when we behead the traitors, you pardon us for that act. And thirdly, we demand our freedom. Yes? Yes! There you go!
Can we have a bit of discipline in the ranks here?
No need for discipline. Let us in.
Right, well, I think the town needs to vote on this. So if you think the town of London will stand against Mistress Farrar and Wat Tyler and these rebellious peasants, cry stand!
Stand! You know the tower will fall. Cry fall! That's not enough for me. Come on, here we go. Let's go. Oh.
Garrison, I'm glad to report a third attack. You better get within these walls so that we can close the gates.
All right. Well done, Tower Garrison, that's it, no further than this. We're about to retreat behind that wall, because this is the year 1267. And in the year 1267, this is the only wall. The one on the outside hasn't been built yet. And this single wall is about to face the most terrible threat to the tower's defences in all its history.
Cower in fear! For I, Gilbert de Clare, the Red Earl, have surrounded this Tower of London with my siege engines, my catapult, my trebuchet, and I will destroy that white tower and reduce everything to rubble! Siege engines!
Oh, right. Everybody, over against the wall. No further forward than this. Everyone against the wall over there. Over this. And Crucio, over against the wall.
Very important for your own
safety.
Yeah, for your own safety's sake.
It's very important. You must
Right. Everybody, stay exactly where you are.
3, 2, One, loose! One, loose! All right, hold! Hold, you animals!
All right, come out now.
They stop right. Let's risk it.
Right. Now, hang on a minute. You, Gilbert de Clare, you are rebelling against the lawful authority of your God-anointed King, Henry III.
Yes, I am! So is everyone else! Henry III is a weak man. He's as weak as his father, the bad King John. He has neglected the spirit of the Magna Carta. He is ruling against the interests of the people of England. But not only that, for far too long, he has neglected his armies in favour of the church.
Well, that just shows that the only thing is... You supported the king!
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I stood by him. I kept him on the throne. And yet look at how he rewards me. He confiscates the lands of his enemies, but only to give them to his wife and her friends. He appoints the wrong people time and time again as advisors in England. And he has failed to respect and reward my past loyalties.
Oh, my Lord de Clare, how sunk in bitterness you are. I and all the other nuns will pray for you. But perhaps you haven't heard, within the walls of this tower at the moment, not only lodges the king, but also the Pope's representative. If you continue with this attack, you're attacking the crown and the church, and you don't want to be thrown out of the church. You'll be excommunicated.
Oh, no!
Yes.
Oh, no! Excommunication!
Yes.
What do I do?
I know.
Well, I don't care!
What?
I don't care about excommunication. Honestly, you're excommunicated, you give the church a big fat bag of gold, and they let you back in.
How dare you!
You know, I've been excommunicated before. It doesn't
What will
hurt.
you wait till the afterlife?
I will destroy everything the king holds dear.
Well, we'll just see what the Tower Garrison has to say about that. If you think the town of London will stand against Gilbert de Clare and his weapons of war, cry stand!
Stand! The tower will fall! Forgive me. I don't care what any of you poor people think. I'll kill all of you! Red, red, red!
All right, in that case, we're going to retreat.
Just in case. You never know. What are you, a lion?
Tower in fear, kneel before me.
No, my Lord de Clare. Actually,
What?
I'm happy to report to you that the King is willing to offer you terms.
Ha! I spit on the king's terms. Poor.
All right, in that case, we're going to retreat that way.
There's no excuse for yourself. Lucky that you got spat on by me. That's right. All of you kneel before. What?
Peace, be still! Have the years taught you nothing?
No.
Violence and bloodshed achieve nothing. You and you, move onto the green grass and discuss terms of peace. Move!
Right, there's no
I've got a better idea. Let's go on the grass and talk about it. I'm on the lawn first. That's right. I'm on the lawn first.
Batting on the side. Stand aside! Stand aside! All of you. Get away from disgusting.
Right.
What we'll do is we'll hear what you've all got to say.
Here, fellow! Any of you are here, that's what I have to say, for I have cannon, I have pirates, I have the inclination and the willpower to succeed. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for being just like all the other going to change. That one day, all men and women will be equal under one king anointed by God. And on that day, maybe there'll be no more nobles. Maybe there'll be no more bishops. Ooh, maybe there'll be no more tax. No more tax. No more tax. Sing it.
No more tax! No more tax!
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that not a joke? Because it's hilarious. Honestly, you know what the Commons have got? Nothing but a bad smell. I've got an army. I've got siege engines. Used to sieging fortresses just like this. I will win. Me.
Right, well, you've heard what they've got to say for themselves. Now's the time to put it to the vote.
So, if you support me, the bastard of Falkenberg, raise your hands in the air and cheer!
Yeah!
Or if you think that Joanna Farrar and the Commons will succeed, raise your hands in the air and cheer for me now!
Or if you know in your hearts that I, Gilbert declare the Red Earl, will be victorious, let me hear you cry, yes!
What is wrong with you people? I have cannon! There's not a whiff of gunpowder between them. There is literally no way that I can fail.
My lord?
Yes.
Actually, you do fail.
What?
Yeah, King Edward, you see, marches his army out of London to the north, to Barnet, defeats your forces there, then carries on to Tewkesbury, beats the rest of your forces there, and kills your precious so-called Prince of Wales. And now he's back here in London to relieve the Tower garrison!
Yeah, Thomas Neville, though there's some good news. King Edward is a forgiving sort of man. On condition, of course, that you surrender your fleet, you will be pardoned.
I surrender my fleet.
Of course, you can't be hanging around London anymore, so you're going to be sent north to serve under the King's hunchback brother Richard.
I like it.
Who isn't quite as forgiving as the King, and you're going to find yourself mysteriously executed at Middleham Castle.
What? You're talking nonsense! We'll see what Henry VI, who is still in Wakefield Tower, has to say about this one.
He's not saying anything now, he's dead.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, he died of melancholy and disappointment.
What do you mean melancholy and disappointment?
Well, it's sort of like this stabbing pain in between the shoulder blades.
Murder then.
But, look at the bright side, my lord. Now that King Edward is secure upon his throne and back with his beloved Elizabeth Woodville, I dare say before long there'll be another little prince on the way. And should, God forbid, anything happen to King Edward, then I'm sure the boy's lovely hunchback Uncle Richard will look after them very carefully here at the Tower of London.
So, the Commons of England then.
Oh, stop talking! Honestly, know your place. Go over there and grovel for forgiveness. Go away. Go away. You know, I was going to starve you out, but I think now I'll show you my power. Attack!
Get up, in the name of King Henry III, to stand! Your army down!
Look at you now, starving, riddled with disease.
Out of the way, let Sir Roger through.
He's in the sword. Looks like you're not going to starve to death.
Stand aside there, stand
Stand aside.
You want me to fight him? Get out of my way!
Boo!
Now, Tower Garrison, thank you. The King thanks you for standing up to this notorious rebel here. I have returned from France with a shipload of Gascon knights. The King is sailing his fleet up the River Thames to relieve London and to outflank you, Gilbert de Clare. Now, if you have any sense, man, you will now yield to the King's forces. Ha! I will never yield. Well, then we will fight, and God will decide. Right. Will you stand with me against this man?
No! No!
Stop the talking, will you?
My friends, we see here, Sir Roger on his feet.
Get it!
Any time during the fight, you want to cheer the man in
See that? Huh? I ain't gonna fight without a face.
Come on, Sir Roger! Good fights for you!
Come now! Go for the medal!
Come on, Sir Roger!
Kill him, Sir Roger! Oh, kill him, Sir Roger!
Yeah!
Stop moving!
Come
Still haven't your fence.
Yield! All right, I'll yield!
There you are. Think of the big picture. What about his son, the Lord Edward?
You're right. You're right. If I just wait till Henry III dies, then his son, Prince Edward, a warrior of a man. Hey, do you think the two of us could go to Wales together, conquer the Welsh people, drag their princes back to the Tower in chains, and humiliate them?
Oh, yes. And then head north and hammer the Scots.
But my lord Doctor, to the Treasurer and the Chancellor sheltering there in the White Tower, dragged them out onto Tower Hill, where we beheaded them, and they were the first executions of their kind to take place on Tower Hill. So, if you supported the Commons of England, you chose wisely. Give yourselves a cheer!
Yes, strange to tell, the only time the town of London has ever fallen to an outside force, it was a bunch of peasants armed with farm tools. Quite how they managed to get in, we're not entirely certain. Although it seems likely that somebody accidentally on purpose left the gate open. But that just goes to show, doesn't it? You can have a moat and mighty walls and a great tall keep, but what really matters when a castle is under siege is the strength of its garrisons. So give yourselves and Steve the Bannerman a mighty cheer. And as a reward for your loyal service to the crown, the King gives you the freedom of the tower for the rest of this day. Go within the White Tower and marvel at the great displays of weapons and armour in there. To go up yonder and bill and coo over the pretty sparkly things in the jewel house.
You already got the privilege.
Or, if you really are gasping like me, refreshments are available just over there. The first one of you in there, mine's a pint. Thank you very much. What else for you?
Bloodthirsty violence.
So like, I'm not even holding a box, I'm holding a paper.
You need the salads and sandwiches together here, okay?
Oh, wow.
There you go. Now you hold this, and actually I'll give you some salads as well. There you go. Yeah, you don't want salad?
What's that besides?
Except at the end of the back,
Then I'll win.
you get
Ya cuando empieza a ver a las princesas y se la va
아 근데 입장료이 엄청 길어졌네.
점심 먹고 오는 거 보다. 점심 먹고 오는 거 같아.
Die dürfen nicht, aber halt, die dürfen nicht. Wenn man die abbricht, dürfen die hasn't gone. Happy, no. I don't feel right. You know what I mean? I sort of, now and again, it's just like this.
That is viewed. So nice, I'm really old.
Ja, aber da gibt es mehrere Sachen, die jetzt kommen. Ah, nein, einfach die Muster nicht. We'll have for her.
Now, ladies and gents, come right the way round, getting nice and close. Right, okay, ladies and gents, we're now stood in the inner ward of the Tower of London, and behind you is William the Conqueror's fortress, the White Tower. Now, work began there in 1078, and it took 20 years to complete under the direction of a man called Gundulf. And I do not mean the legendary film wizard. I mean Gundulf, Bishop of Rochester, was a skilled builder and architect. Now, it stands about 90 feet tall. The walls are 15 feet thick at the bottom, tapering to 11 feet thick at the top. On each corner, you see there are turrets. 3 are square, but the one here in the northeast corner is round. That's because it was in there that the very first Royal Observatory was established before being moved to Greenwich in 1675. Above each one of those turrets, you'll see a crown in gold leaf, and beneath that, a weather vane showing the royal standard. That denotes that this is still an official royal palace. Who did not know that? Okay, well, pay attention, I've said it 7 times on the tour already. Although it's no longer used as the royal residence, it did serve as one for its first 600 years, with the last monarch to reside there being King James I in 1603. And the royal apartments are up there on the top floor. The floor below that was used as a banqueting hall, council chamber, accommodation for knights and their ladies, and the chapel of St John the Evangelist, the oldest working Norman chapel in the whole of Europe. The floor below that was occupied by servants and retainers, but there is another floor below ground. It is dark, it is cold, it is wet, there are no windows. It is perfect for wine. And it was used as storage for wine and provisions, but it also had a slight more practical use as a dungeon and torture chamber. In there, despicable instruments of torture would have been used on poor unfortunate souls. It was a dark and evil smelling place, lit only by the candles of the torturers. No cries of anguish would have been heard outside those 15 feet thick walls. Today, it is brightly lit and very little trace of its former use remains. However, if you go inside there, ladies and gents, I challenge you to put your ear up against the stonework of the walls and listen carefully. you will still hear sounds of terror. You will still hear the cries of torment. Because in the basement area now, you will find one of our gift shops. Yeah, you're laughing, but once you study the prices, that will wipe the smile off your face. Executions that took place here and should not be confused with the public scaffold site up on Tower Hill. 6 people were beheaded just there. 3 of those Queens of England. Before I tell you about them, though, I'm going to point out some of the more significant structures that surround us here on Tower Green. Now, all the way down this path to my right, you come to the entrance of the Bloody Tower. You can see displays on Sir Walter Raleigh and the 2 boy princes. Moving around into the corner, that impressive L-shaped building in the corner, that is the Queen's House. Why is it called the Queen's House? Because it is the Queen's house. It is a perfectly preserved Tudor residence that still serves as the home of the Constable of the Tower of London and his family. Currently, that is General Nicholas Horton. He lives there with his family. He is given permission to live there by the Queen of England under the condition that he looks after the Tower of London and her crown jewels, along with us and the soldiers here. The Queen's House itself has held some very important prisoners within its walls. Queen Catherine Howard, the 5th wife of King Henry VIII, she was held in there. Anyone in from Pennsylvania? No one's going to admit to it. Also in prison there was William Penn, the man who founded Pennsylvania. He was imprisoned in there for his offensive writings. Even as a prisoner in that house, he compiled a controversial pamphlet, No Cross, No Crown. Eventually he was released on the condition that he left the country. Crossing the Atlantic, he founded Pennsylvania, named in honour of his father, who he loved very dearly. One of the last state prisoners in there was a man called Rudolf Hess, deputy leader of Nazi Germany. And he was held in that house for 4 days in May 1941. Unfortunately though, due to some health and safety issues that we had in London at that time, we had to move him out to the country for his own safety. Anybody know what our health and safety problems were? The Blitz. The Blitz and the Second World War, pretty significant. We were concerned he was going to get hurt, so we moved him out to the country. And there were 1 or 2 more questions we'd quite like him to answer for us. Now the house.
We also have lots and lots of doors. We also have the largest, white stand.
In that house, there was a big black and white house. That was completed in 1540.
This one over here?
Yeah.
1540. Yeah, that's 500 years after.
Yeah.
Good.
Just read this one.
Right, sorry, but I felt that was moving. I feel like it's often that I'm on the bloody yeah, me too.
Now let's go down.
Signs of criminal disappearance. What? A disappearance has caused murder?
Look at that. Just 3 names. Oh no, it's
'Thank you.